Good afternoon. I am delighted to welcome you to this special campus community gathering to recognize the achievements of our Presidential and Regents Award winners. Please join me in standing for the national anthem, which will be sung by the UMBC Camerata, directed by David Smith. Following the national anthem, the Camerata will sing our university alma mater, our UMBC.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Hail, alma mater, our UMBC, boldly bearing your colors the whole world to see, striving together in true unity. Black gold forever we're reminded of thee. Proudly we hail to thee, our UMBC. Throughout the ages, our UMBC, songs and memories still echo with true clarity. Knowledge and wisdom and truth we found here. Friendships we treasure that will last through the years. Proudly we hail to thee, our UMBC.
Before they leave, let me say that we are very proud of our Camerata. They performed on April 2nd at Carnegie Hall with John Rutter, an internationally renowned composer and choral conductor. Give them a round of applause. They did superbly. Thank you very much for representing us so well. Thank you. Before I begin, I want to recognize a guest of the university. Dr. Donna Nelson is here somewhere. Dr. Nelson, would you stand? Dr. Nelson is a research chemist, a professor at the University of Oklahoma. She will be, and she's also representing the American Chemical Society, and she will be giving a distinguished lecture with the advanced program tomorrow at 4 o'clock in room 312. I invite you to attend. She is superb. Give her a hand, would you? Today, we recognize our colleagues and their impressive contributions to the university and their specific areas of research and their contributions to the larger community. But before I begin, I'm going to ask all of the family members of award recipients today to please stand. All of the family members. Would you give them all a hand, please? We know that your family members would not have been so successful without your support, and we appreciate all that you have done. Also, I'm going to ask the former and current presidential teaching and research professors and the previous Distinguished Staff Award winners to please stand so we can give you a round of applause also. Please, give them a hand. At the end of this part of the program where we present the awards, I will make a few comments about the current state of the university. It's now my privilege to welcome Dr. Art Johnson, our provost, in case you didn't know.
Thank you, Freeman. It gives me great pleasure to honor the Presidential Faculty and Staff Award winners for this year. The 2007-2010 Presidential Teaching Professor, Dr. Robert Reno, Bob, why don't you stand, has made remarkable contributions to the education of UMBC undergraduate and graduate students during his 33-year teaching career at the university. Since joining the physics department in 1973, Dr. Reno has taught a total of 160 physics courses. He developed 7 original courses which serve as the foundation of the department's curriculum. He recently created a new honors course that introduces students to advanced experiments using radioactive materials and X-ray generators. By using peer instruction, Dr. Reno's courses are designed to foster student success and to enhance the learning experience of students. He became one of the first faculty members to implement this technique on campus and the first in the physics department. Dr. Reno is the recipient of 2 UMBC DRIF and SRIS awards, a U.S. Army Summer Research Fellowship, and a Special Achievement Award from the National Bureau of Standards. He served on numerous committees at UMBC and is currently chair of the Physics Department Undergraduate Curriculum Committee and a member of UMBC's Special Sessions Committee, the Environmental Health and Safety Committee, and the university's Undergraduate Curriculum Committee. A graduate of Manhattan College, he went on to receive his master's and PhD degrees in physics from Brandeis University. And on a personal note, Bob is primarily responsible for our water course that he and a number of colleagues developed how many years ago? 4 or 5, 6 or 7, a number of years ago. Okay. So please join me in congratulating the 2007-2010 Presidential Teaching Professor, Dr. Robert Reno.
Thank you, Art. I'd also like to thank Chair of the Department and the Associate Chair, Mike Hayden, Philip Rouse, for nominating me. As you've heard, I've been a member of the Physics Department at UMBC for actually almost 34 years now. During that time, we've seen some massive changes in our department. When I interviewed back in 1973, there were 6 faculty members offering a bachelor's degree to about 20 students. Now we have 22 faculty members, 100 plus undergraduate physics majors, 2 PhD programs serving approximately 50 graduate students, and we have funded research in excess of $4 million. But what I'm most happy about, in looking at this growth, is our department's continuing commitment to maintaining the excellence of our undergraduate program as we allow our graduate education and research activities to grow. I like to think of this as part of a tradition that was started 40 years ago by Alvin Meckler, one of the founders of our department. Alvin's legacy was the creation of a top-notch undergraduate physics curriculum that would allow our graduates to go on through a lifetime of physics service. Alvin is now deceased. Okay. But during his time as chair, for example, I can never remember him ever canceling a course due to low enrollments. Okay. If Alvin felt that a course was necessary for even 2 students, we offered it. Okay. His concern was not with curriculum efficiency, but with curriculum integrity. Okay. Fortunately for UMBC and our students, okay, our current faculty, 20 of whom have come to UMBC since I arrived, okay, share the same commitment and take teaching responsibilities as seriously as they do research. I'm proud to be a member of that group. Thank you.
The recipient of the 2007-2010 Presidential Research Professor Award, Dr. Lena Orlin. Lena, would you stand, please? Dr. Orlin is a professor in the Department of English and is internationally recognized as an authority in Renaissance studies. A specialist in Shakespeare studies, Dr. Orlin is the executive director of the Shakespeare Association of America, a professional organization with 1,700 members. In this role, she develops and organizes the association's annual convention, manages the budget, and oversees the production of the print and web version of the semi-annual publication, The Bulletin. Dr. Orlin also represents American and Canadian Shakespeareans on the executive committee of the International Shakespeare Association. Dr. Orlin has received major awards for her fields of study in literature, art history, and history. These awards include 2 senior fellowships from the National Endowment for the Humanities, fellowships from the Yale Center for British Art, and the Center for Advanced Study in the Visual Arts at the National Gallery of Art, and a John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation Fellowship. A faculty member since 1996, Dr. Orlin received an Artium Baccalaureus in English and Art History from Oberlin College and earned master's and PhD degrees in English from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Please join me in honoring Dr. Lena Cohen Orlin as the 2007-2010 Presidential Research Professor.
I didn't look into your eyes and your soul like the queen.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you who are here. Last December, I served on a hiring committee for the English department. At the convention of the Modern Language Association of America, we interviewed a dozen candidates for a job at UMBC. We tended to end the interviews by asking the candidates if they had anything they wanted to tell us or anything they wanted to ask. One man, who had clearly been coached to anticipate such a strategy, had a question about UMBC. What, he asked, are you proud of? My answer was immediate and instinctual, and one for which, by the way, there are witnesses. I am proud of our president. I described Freeman Hrabowski's vision for this youngish branch of a large state university system, his ambition to transform it into an honors university, and his commitment to research at the faculty, graduate, and undergraduate levels. I talked especially about the last and the avenues of opportunity represented in the programs for scholars in the humanities, Linehan scholars in the arts, Meyerhoff scholars in the sciences and engineering, and Sondheim scholars in public affairs. Not being born into privilege myself, I appreciate especially the way in which educational opportunity can improve lives and the way in which this is happening for so many students at UMBC. It is because UMBC is so much of Freeman Hrabowski's making that I'm particularly honored that this award comes with the designation presidential. Every institution is defined by the character and aspiration of the person at its top. At the same time, I know that President Hrabowski is aware of the degree to which a university is a team effort and of how much dedication and energy is required of every member of its administration, staff, and faculty. At every rank, my hard-working colleagues in the English department are fully committed to UMBC's central mission of giving students the tools they need to succeed in the world beyond the university. Not only knowledge acquisition and cultural capital, but even more importantly, critical thinking and effective communication skills. English is the only department to teach every student who enrolls here, and I'm grateful to think that this award honors all the English faculty by recognizing the importance of their field to a liberal arts education. This past fall marked my 10-year anniversary at UMBC. It has been a transformative 10 years because the university has been so supportive of my scholarship, allowing me time for extended archival research and for writing. But if that same job candidate at the Modern Language Association were to ask me what I'm most proud of about my own professional career, today I would talk about things like the Oxford Guide to Shakespeare, which I co-edited, and a source book for English studies in the Renaissance, which I'm now completing, and a new collected works of Shakespeare, which has just been commissioned. All these are books intended for use in undergraduate teaching, and all are evidence of the way in which advanced scholarship must and should cycle back into the classroom in the ongoing process by which research undergirds the mission of education. People outside the academy wonder if there's anything new to be said about Shakespeare. Through my work with the Shakespeare Association of America and the International Shakespeare Association, which UMBC has also supported most generously, I'm increasingly aware of the way in which the words of a poet who lived 400 years ago today constitute a universal language, a safe way of talking about human relations and human interactions across national divides. There is always something new to be said about Shakespeare because ideas in the humanities are an endlessly renewable resource, made fresh by every encounter with contemporary culture, made newly strange in every global context, and brought newly to life in every classroom exchange. Again, I am honored to be part of this year's celebration of the importance of research in education. Thank you.
Billy, you want to stand? In his 31-year career at UMBC, William John Tudor, the recipient of the 2007 Presidential Distinguished Staff Award for Professional Staff, held positions in the departments of Dance, Music, and Visual Arts and the Imaging Research Center. He now serves as the Exhibitions and Technology Director for UMBC's Center for Art, Design, and Visual Culture. Because of his innovative exhibition designs, UMBC has gained local and national recognition as the preferred arts destination in Baltimore. The Baltimore City Paper and Baltimore Magazine have consistently hailed the center as the best of Baltimore. And the New York Times, Art Forum, Washington Post, and the Baltimore Sun have written favorable reviews about its exhibitions. Bill Tudor has received awards for his research in music, dance, and transmedia production from the National Endowment of the Arts, the New York State Arts Council, and support from the Guggenheim Foundation and the National Endowment for the Humanities. Bill Tudor is a UMBC alumnus. He earned 3 degrees, bachelor's degrees in both composition and the related arts and in special studies, and a master's of fine arts in imaging and digital arts. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the 2007 Presidential Distinguished Staff Award for Professional Staff, Mr. William John Tudor.
First, I'd like to thank everyone who was involved in the nomination and selection process. Thank you very much. Thinking back about these 31 years, it's been kind of an adventure in which, starting in the music department with some people may remember Felix Powell and Mantle Hood and Josef Boholczek, all people who were very instrumental in forming the foundations for the music department, and also something I think has been a wonderful opportunity for me here is the diversity. We had classical music, new music, ethnomusicology, all embedded into one group. Then I moved to the art department when David Yeager was coming in to rebuild a department, and then off to the Imaging Research Center, and now presently at the Center for Art, Design, and Visual Culture, which is kind of a blend of all these departments and environments. I've had the opportunity to work with people in theater as a creative sense, and people in dance, and then at the same time in all the adventures that have gone on, building projects, the new IRC, the second IRC, getting grants so that students can now accomplish things that economically weren't presently available, or you can make an alliance with a corporation. They say, we need this software, and they dedicate that software. I think a lot of this also revolves around this community in this campus where sometimes I'll go to someone in physical plant saying, can I drive this car inside of the gallery? And of course they'll say, you know, they'll look at you really strange, but all in all, everything from the physical plant to the administration to the academic departments, it's just been a wonderful community experience, and hopefully we'll always continue to grow in many different ways. Thank you.
The recipient, Deb, you want to stand? The recipient of the 2007 Presidential Distinguished Staff Award for non-exempt staff is the Business Services Specialist for UMBC's Maryland Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, MIPAR. Colleagues and students describe her as extraordinarily dedicated and exceptionally talented. Ms. Deborah Gear manages all the business-related aspects of the Institute's $8 million budget, including procurement, personnel, payroll, and overall bookkeeping. An 11-year employee of UMBC, many of the support staff rely on Deborah's knowledge in the area of PeopleSoft. She has been instrumental since the beginning of the campus-wide implementation of PeopleSoft, serving on various committees. More importantly, she serves as a peer mentor, assisting those on campus who need help when using the system. Deb not only provides quality service to MIPAR and its constituents, she is also active in the UMBC community as a member of the non-exempt Senate staff and Council of University System staff. Ms. Gear is currently working toward a Bachelor of Arts in Health Administration Policy and a certificate in finance. Now, this has your GPA. Can I release it? I don't want to violate FERPA. She has a 3.8 grade point average. Please join me in congratulating the 2007 Presidential Distinguished Staff Award for non-exempt staff, Ms. Deborah Gear.
Excellent, Deborah. Really nice.
Oh, sit down. That's my husband, in case nobody figured that out.
That's great.
I was really nervous about giving this speech, but looking out and seeing all my friends, I'm not nearly as nervous as I was this morning. This award is very special to me. To be honored by a body of your peers is one of the highest compliments a person can receive. After all, who knows better than your peers what you go through each day? I've been very lucky over the years to have been afforded many opportunities at UMBC. These opportunities, both educational and professional, have enabled me to grow in ways I never imagined prior to coming to the university. When I first arrived at UMBC, I was a very quiet, reserved individual who was a bit too compliant. Then I met Don Norris and Linda Brown, and that all changed.
That's great.
I don't think I can say too much about my good friends Don and Linda. Don has taught me to stand on my principles, to be more self-confident, and I thank him for that. Linda once told me the greatest gift you can give a person is a strong self-esteem. Through her example, she has given that to me, and I thank her. By believing in me and my abilities, they made me realize that there truly was nothing I could not accomplish. As a result of their mentoring, professionally, I have developed into a respected business leader on campus, and academically, I have excelled by leaps and bounds. I would be remiss if I did not thank my friends Gay and Ann. They are always there to lend a hand or offer advice academically and professionally. I also want to thank the public policy staff, faculty, and students. You create an atmosphere that encourages success. There is one more very special person who I need to acknowledge. That's my best friend, my husband, Wayne. From the first day I met him, he has made me feel special. We met at a time when I had lost faith in the human race and God, and he helped me find that again. His perseverance is unmatched by anyone I know. He has taught me never to give up. When you stumble, pick yourself up and continue. He is my inspiration. I want to talk a little bit about my role as a student. More often than not, I'm the oldest person in the class. The undergraduate students, who are the same age as my children, never make me feel awkward or out of place. This is very important to me, and I truly appreciate every one of them. Our students are phenomenal, and we should be proud of them. UMBC is a community of people who genuinely care about each other. I can honestly say that I have never seen a more closely knit group of colleagues. Everyone cares when something affects you, bad or good. As witnessed today, when something good happens, everyone's here to celebrate. And when something bad happens, they're there to lend a hand. I am very proud to consider myself a part of the UMBC community. My favorite movie of all times is Francis Coppola's It's a Wonderful Life. Does everybody know that movie? Yeah. Good movie. At the end of the movie, the main character, George Bailey, receives a Bible from his guardian angel. He opens the first page, and there is an inscription which reads, "Remember, no man is a failure who has friends. I must be a very successful woman." Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Once again, one more time, please join me in congratulating the Presidential Faculty and Staff Award winners. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Emma Sellers, Program Management Specialist and Program Coordinator of the Department of Political Science and co-chair of the President's Commission for Women. She will present the President's Commission for Women Achievement Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to present the President's Commission for Women Achievement Award. This award is given to a faculty member or student who has shown outstanding service to the university and the wider community by advocating for the elimination of gender inequality and working to promote understanding among people of different groups. The winner of the President's Commission for Women Achievement Award, Dr. Patrice McDermott, is Associate Professor and Chair of American Studies. She actively promotes understanding of and equality for diverse groups of people. When Dr. McDermott was hired in 1993 as Assistant Professor in American Studies, she served as Acting Director of the Gender and Women's Studies program and is a member of its coordinating committee. She currently serves on the Executive Committee of the National Science Foundation Advanced Grant promoting women in the STEM fields. Dr. McDermott is a former interim director of the Women's Center and founding member of the Center for Women in Information Technology's internal board. Since 2001, she has served as special assistant to 2 deans, overseeing diversity initiatives since 2001. Dr. McDermott, whose scholarship focuses on gender equality and women's issues, is the author of the award-winning 1994 study, Politics and Scholarship, Feminist Academic Journals and the Production of Knowledge. Dr. McDermott received her bachelor's degree, master's, and PhD degrees in American Studies from the University of Maryland, College Park. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the President's Commission for Women Achievement Award, Dr. Patrice McDermott.
Thank you so much. This was a surprise to me. I actually was supporting another nominee for this award. And I want to thank my colleagues who put my nomination forward, and I want to thank the President's Commission for selecting me and for all of the good work they do for our campus. It's especially meaningful to me to be this year's recipient, because this year The Gender and Women's Studies program at UMBC has finally been authorized to offer a bachelor's degree. It's also the year that we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the founding of Women's Studies at UMBC. And when I think of that coincidental timing and receiving this award, it made me think about what I was doing 25 years ago. 25 years ago, I was a college dropout. I'm getting choked up here. Because I hadn't thought about this for a long time. And I'd done a series of what we call pink-collar jobs. I'd been a library aide. I sold men's shoes at Woodward and Lothrop, if you remember that old department store. I'd been a dental assistant. My specialty was root canals and endodontic surgery. However, I'm warning you, just because they issue someone a uniform doesn't mean they've been trained. And finally, I was a temp secretary at an auto supply warehouse where I typed invoices all day. And it's when I had that job that I was wandering through my local library, and I saw a book on the shelf called Nobody Speaks for Me. And it was a collection of stories by American working class women who had come together to empower themselves and to try to change the lives of others. The combination of being inspired by that book and working the invoice job sent me back to college. And that book was what my generation of feminists call a click moment. It's a moment in which the world that had seemed kind of fuzzy and out of focus suddenly clicks into clear relief. And I knew that I had a purpose in my work, which was to work on the struggle for gender and diversity in our country. Years ago, I felt isolated and alone. Today, just recently, we had the founding mothers of the Women's Studies program here, Daphne Harrison, Joan Kornman, Angela Morjani, and I knew I was in good company at UMBC. And when I think of the past recipients of this award, Jill Randalls, Ann Brodsky, Jody Kelber-Kay, Carol McCann, Mikkel Kushner, I know I'm in good company at UMBC. And when I think of all the members of our staff, our faculty, our students, and our administration who, just as a matter of doing their jobs every day, center these issues of gender and diversity in their work, all the deserving participants, I know I'm not alone. I think that true change comes from individuals, but I also think that change can only be sustained by transforming institutions. And so the fact that I'm in such good company here heartens me and makes me optimistic that UMBC will become one of those transformative institutions in the very near future. Thank you.
Each year, the University System of Maryland Board of Regents honors a select group of faculty for their outstanding achievement. I'm pleased to announce that the Board of Regents is honoring this year 2 UMBC faculty members for their distinguished performance as faculty. First, Dr. Sandra Herbert, Professor of History, world-renowned historian of science, and expert on Charles Darwin, is the recipient of the 2006-2007 USM Board of Regents Faculty Award for Research, Scholarship, Creative Activity. Dr. Herbert could not be with us today because she is currently a distinguished visiting scholar for the 2006-2007 academic year at Christ College at the University of Cambridge. She is helping to plan for the 2009 celebration of Darwin's 200th birthday and 150th anniversary of his seminal work on the origin of species. Her book, entitled Charles Darwin, Geologist, published in 2005 by Cornell University Press, gained considerable attention and received several prestigious awards, including the Mary C. Rabbit Award from the History of Geology Division of the Geological Society of America, the first Levinson Prize of the History of the Science Society for the best book in life sciences and natural history, and the American Historical Association's George L. Moss Prize. In addition, she was elected a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. Dr. Herbert earned a Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies from Wittenberg University and master's and PhD degrees in History of Ideas from Brandeis University. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Sandra Herbert, the 2006-2007 USM Board of Regents Faculty Award for Research Scholarship Creative Activity. Dr. Christy Lindemeyer, Professor of the Department of History, Professor and Chair of the Department of History, will accept the Certificate of Achievement in Dr. Herbert's absence.
Thank you, Sandra.
I'm pleased now to introduce the 2006-2007 USM Board of Regents Faculty Award recipient for collaboration in research. An Associate Professor of Chemical and Biochemical Engineering, Dr. Martin, shares this honor with Towson University's Professor of Physics, Astronomy, and Geosciences, David Schaefer. Through their interdisciplinary research, the Martin and Schaefer team developed a technique for assessing material properties of filamentous cells. This capability will eventually lead to improved methods for producing different compounds, such as chemicals, enzymes, and medicines, and may help improve antifungal drugs. The team has had remarkable success in obtaining a $1.6 million National Science Foundation grant for their collaborative research. Their research has also made a significant impact on UMBC and Towson. Students and faculty from both universities gain important research experience that might not have been available without Martin and Schaefer's partnership. Dr. Martin holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Chemical Engineering from SUNY at Buffalo and Master's and PhD degrees in Chemical Engineering from Purdue University. Please join me in honoring Dr. Mark Martin as the 2006-2007 University System Maryland Board of Regents Faculty Award recipient for collaboration in research.
Yeah. You got a fan club. That's great.
Really is an honor to be here, and three words come to mind, really: honor, gratitude, and family. And honor, I'm honored to receive this award. And gratitude, I'm very thankful to Dr. Julie Ross, our chair, who nominated us, as well as my collaborator. This is a really collaborative award, Dave Schaefer, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. And also to someone who's not mentioned very often, but really did most of the work, and that's Li-Ming Zhao, a PhD student in the Chemical Biochemical Engineering Department. Li-Ming, can you stand up for a second? Let's give Li-Ming a round of applause. He's a quiet man, he's incredibly intelligent, and he invented ways to do things that have never been done before. And if you want to talk more about fungus, we can do that after. But honor, gratitude, and family, and really gratitude for my extended family. My lab group, I have 5 PhD students right now, and I love interacting with these guys. It's really a privilege to be their advisor, their PhD advisor. Family, even extended beyond that, through our department, through my colleagues, the faculty who are here today. Thank you guys for coming. It's a pleasure to serve on the faculty with you guys. We have a department where in most big groups, there's a subgroup of people that you'd probably go to lunch with. Well, I'm happy to say that all of the people on the faculty in our department are people I would love to go to lunch with, and we do. And then for an extended family bigger than that is the graduate students in our department. So thank you guys for coming very much. And of course, the staff in our department. Thank you. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Before I introduce the 2005-2006 USM Board of Regents staff winner, I want to recognize the UMBC staff members whose extraordinary work has been honored with a nomination by UMBC for the USM Board of Regents Staff Award for 2006-2007. The Board of Regents will conduct the selection process for those awards later this year. Please stand as I call your name. These are UMBC nominees. Outstanding service to students nominees are Susan Velli in the Department of Music. Susan? Susan represents non-exempt staff, and Cindy Kubiet in athletics representing exempt staff. Cindy? The nominee for exceptional contribution to the mission of UMBC or the unit is Mary Anderson. Mary is in the Department of Chemical and Biochemical Engineering, representing non-exempt staff. And finally, for extraordinary public service to UMBC or the greater community, the nominee is Facilities Management's Rob Connelly. Connolly? Rob, are you here? No, Rob is not here. He's representing the non-exempt staff.
He's out working right now.
Right. Please join me in giving them all a round of applause. Emma? Now, I'm especially pleased to introduce the 2005-2006 USM Board of Regents Award recipient for outstanding service to students, a former colleague of mine, Ms. Emma Sellers. Ms. Sellers is the Department of Political Sciences Program Management Specialist and Program Coordinator. Celebrating 20 years of service this year to UMBC, Emma demonstrates a commitment to building relationships with UMBC students. She is the first point of contact for political science majors and for students who are required to take courses in that department. She has volunteered with departments on campus, such as Career Services and the Office of Academic Services. Off campus, she volunteers as a tutor for the Kuman Math and Reading Center, where she helps children with special needs. Since 2004, she has held the position of co-chair for the President's Commission for Women. Ms. Sellers is a UMBC alumna who received her Bachelor of Arts in English degree in 2003. She has a post-baccalaureate certificate in Instructional Systems Development and is working toward a master's degree in Instructional Systems Design, both from UMBC. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Emma Sellers, the 2005-2006 USM Board of Regents Award recipient for outstanding service to students.
No. Oh, God. I wasn't nervous until now. Okay, it is with honor that I accept this award. I thank God. I would like to thank Dr. Wybowski and the committee members for finding favor with my nomination for the Regents Award. I thank Dr. Cheryl Miller, Dr. Cynthia Hody for nominating me. I thank Diane Crump, Caduce Snyder, and Angela Taylor for their support letters, and the many students who gave testimonies about my positive interactions with them. I thank Beth Wells for helping me to put together a strong nomination packet. I thank Political Science for their continued support. I thank all of you so very much. To close, I have written a poem titled Blessed. Friday the 13th was the day I left UMAB for UMBC. Frightened and filled with anxiety, I soon discovered was no way to be. For every enemy found their way to me, God blessed me with 3. My road had been paved with many before me. I came in with a dream that has become a reality. I've learned education is something that no one can take from thee. Pursuing education is like a roller coaster, sometimes up, sometimes down, but I keep my feet planted and I embrace it indeed. I thank God for my children and family who inspire and comforts me. When the mountains seemed unmovable, they reminded me faith is free. I thank God for my friends and confidants who encouraged me and said, hold on to your dreams, for it will be. I know the secret of blessings, for I have asked, believe, and ready to receive all blessings that God has stored up for me. This award is a blessing that no one can imagine how much it means to me. Thank you, UMBC.
Thank you. That's great. Let's stand and give everybody a hand, all of these awardees. Would you please? It's just very impressive. As I listened to the awardees, all of us as we listened certainly felt the sense of pride that each took in achievements, but also in being a part of this community. What came through to me as beginning with Bob, and as we think about people who've given decades, 3 decades in some cases, of their lives here, or whether they came in the 90s or since then, the fact is that each spoke with great confidence about their connection to this institution and about the fact that we are who we are because of the achievements of people they represented, from the physics department to political science to my part to, you know, people get a jewel in their crown for working with Don Norris. We know that. It's just wonderful. It really is. And the fact that Emma worked with Art Johnson for so long, jewel in her crown, no doubt about that. And that Dr. Martin could pay his students to come here today and stand and applaud. It was just wonderful. Just, I was so impressed. It was a great approach. It really was. They were all going like that at it. The fact is that people came today to support people they care about. And there's something special to be said about that. And it is with great pride that we give each of you these awards, just as a symbol of the respect we have for you and of our saying thank you very much for all that you do. I'd like to give you some of the accomplishments of the year, and where we are as a university, and some of these things I'll probably put on the web for those who are not here. Probably the most important thing I can say is this: everybody's thinking about budget, 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 budget. Well, the legislature has just finished its work, and while the higher education segment, the University System of Maryland, has been cut several millions of dollars, it looks as if we won't be cut at all. It's a very good statement that we will get. Give us a hand for that. It's a big deal. Very proud of that. Lisa Auction, some of you know that Lisa Auction has served as the point person to go and be governmental relations, because we did not replace Joan Kennedy in an effort to save money, and Lisa did a superb job. And the most important news I can give you is that the planning money is there for sure for the arts and humanities. Would you give us a big hand for that? That's really great. And so we will be getting another approximately $3 million to add to what we already have. Faculty and others are working with staff and administrators on that effort, and we are making tremendous progress. The other good news is that we, yesterday in our budget committee, were able to determine how we're moving ahead for next year's budget. And I think the deans and vice presidents will be saying to people, while we have prepared for the worst case scenario, things are not as bad as we thought. We can get through this period. We'll be going around. I will be meeting with different groups to talk about that, to give people a greater sense of confidence. I had said in the letter much earlier, things were not so bad anyway to talk about layoffs or furloughs. It's not like that. We had challenges, and the challenges had to do with the fact that we were not getting a tuition increase this year, the funds from that, the fact that we did not reach the enrollment level. We were 100 FTEs above, 116. We needed to be about 200 FTEs to come up with the projected revenues we were anticipating. But the most important news is that we have put money into marketing. It is going extraordinarily well. We have about a 30% increase in the freshman confirmations for next year. That's about another 100 students already, and that's a good sign. The admissions people and everybody working with them, they're doing a superb job. Would you give the admissions and everybody related a hand for just working on those issues? And it's important to say that I'm always delighted when Dr. Scott Bass tells me that the grad student enrollments, Dr. Bass may be here, that those enrollments are up. It's a good sign for the grad admissions. Give grad admissions a hand also. I want to do that. The other point that I will make is that the campaign for the university, which is the long-term future of the institution when thinking about building endowment, is going well. We're in the process of raising $100 million, and we're already above 70. You think about it, for students in the room for the early 90s, we'd never raised $1 million. This year already we've raised $18 million. We are over $70 million towards the goal. Give us a hand for that. I want to thank faculty and staff who've been giving. The funds are up from faculty and staff. Funds are up over $100,000 for alumni giving. If you've not given, we are delighted to see you give at your convenience. Please do so. I have no shame, all right? We have new degrees. The deans and provosts ought to be commended for this. We have a now approved bachelor's degree in Media and Communication Studies, and in Gender and Women's Studies, bachelor's degrees, a master's degree in biotechnology, and in management of aging services, a master's and PhD degree in both in geography and environmental systems, and a new track in public health, all of which are very significant. A lot of people worked on those programs. Give them a hand also, please. It's especially significant because we never know when another institution might have objected to our getting some of those degrees. Remember, some of you know it's hard sometimes to get these programs because other campuses can say they have things, but we have gotten those and they're in place, and we need more programs of those types for the institution. When you look over into the research park, you're going to see 5 building sites that are fully committed. We have a regional headquarters now in construction for the U.S. Geological Survey, which will be a multi-tenant facility, a facility with about 100 scientists. That was a competitive process, and it was because of the strength of geography, some of the sciences, and other areas, and environmental areas that we were able to get that. It's a major facility for this campus. We have under construction very soon a second multi-tenant building, and then a television studio. Some of you know that we have had our own facilities renovated by Erickson, and we are building a facility where a part of the Erickson School will be, but it will also have, it's called retirement television. We all are getting, many of us are getting to the point where we appreciate that, retirement television. I'm looking at my colleagues, Dr. Hendra. And one of the colleagues there will be Walter Cronkite. So we not only have the camaraderie going to the Carnegie Hall, we've got Walter Cronkite who's going to be associated with UMBC. Not bad, right? It's a good service, it really is. Over 125 students have been interns in the park in the past 2 years. We've got about 75 alumni working there right now. It's a very positive story, and we have about almost moving towards 1,000 jobs. By the time they finish, there will be 2,000 jobs created. It's very important for the university to be able to talk about economic development and what we've done for this region. Let me talk about faculty achievements for a minute. We have a number, these are just examples of this past year, several Fulbright scholars, several NIH Presidential Early Career Awards for scientists and engineers, a U.S. Department of State Jefferson Science Fellow, a Mellon Research Fellow, a Woodrow Wilson Career Enhancement Fellow, and National Endowment for the Arts Fellow, a AAAS Mentoring Awardee, several NSF Career Award winners, an Optical Society of America Fellow, an IBM Faculty Award winner, and the Maryland Chemist of the Year. All very prestigious. Give them all hands, would you please? I want particularly my guests to hear this. Between 2001 and 2006, since she's representing the American Chemical Society also, you can go back and tell them this. The Dean of Science will appreciate this. We have had more faculty to get the career awards than Georgetown, Tufts, or Brandeis. Not bad. Give us a hand for that. It's a big... You heard of Emma Steller's award from the Regents for staff. There are a number of staff awards this year. Particularly what I want you to think about is that there are a number of staff members who are serving as leaders in national organizations, and I'm going to send this message out to staff. We need a way of documenting that. It's very interesting. I'll give you an example. Patty Perillo is going to be the incoming president of the American College Student Personnel Association. Give her a hand for that. And I'm asking professional and the different staff groups to let us know about particular awards so that we can include those in the future in any of these talks that we give. Now, let me say something that I am so proud to say. I've said it now about 100 times, probably 1 or 2 times fewer than Charlie Brown, but our women's basketball team went to the dance this year. Give them a big hand for that, would you? And I see my men's coach here, and he's bringing somebody to see me. And the next day or two, I saw the recruit. We want that men's team to go to that dance also. We're looking forward to that. Give the men's coach a hand also, would you? But what's significant, and I particularly want to brag on the women's basketball for just a minute, they had a 3.2 GPA and all of the seniors are graduating. We're very proud of them. Those are important facts. Give them a hand for that, would you please? It is also significant that we, this year, won the championships for men's and women's and swimming and diving in 2007, and the men's lacrosse team championship in 2006. Give us a hand for that, too, please. And finally, some people never thought I'd talk this much about athletics, but I'm so proud. And I'm particularly proud of this image of UMBC as a place for scholar athletes. About half of our athletes have above a 3.0. Give us a hand. I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that. We had a National Honor Society reception for those with above a 3.4, and it was significant numbers of students. And this year, for the first time, we have the top male scholar athlete in the country. He is Isaac Matthews, a 3.9 GPA in mechanical engineering, plays the cello in the church orchestra, lettered in track, and he's really confused right now because he's trying to decide between MIT and Stanford, and I feel so sorry for him. But give Isaac Matthews a hand, would you? And then just one or two. These are just examples. Large numbers of our students are going on to grad. I think you know, between 35 and 40% of our students go immediately to grad and professional school. We have the highest percent in the state, other than Hopkins. And similarly, at the doctoral level, we have them going on to all kinds of places. Let me just give you one example. One of our PhD students, Christy Harris, received the Department of Energy Fellowship that will fund her doctoral studies from now until 2010. This summer, she'll continue her research in nanowire technology at Sandia National Lab in New Mexico. Would you give Christy a hand for that, please? We have a couple of students going to Yale, one for the MFA in theater, Aaron Moss, and Sophia Margeri is going in health administration, a graduate of our program in health administration and Africana studies, both going on to Yale. Give them a hand for going on. And then finally, large numbers of students going into the workplace, and it is great to see more and more of our students becoming teachers. I want to say that. You hear me at commencement always asking the teachers to stand. I could have many people stand, but I don't think our society gives enough credit to young people who are thinking about becoming teachers. And so always know that I will bring up that group and ask them to stand because they need to know that we are proud of them. So for all of our future teachers, would you give them a hand, please? I'm going to mention something that's very interesting. Dr. Orlin will appreciate this. Orlin, in English, Richard Byrne, who's an English graduate from here, is a senior research editor for the Chronicle of Higher Education, has just received the inaugural Prague Post Playwriting Festival Award for first place. Dr. you appreciate this. First place for his play that was performed there in Prague. Would you give him a hand for that? It's a very big deal. This is the day for English. Jamie Hopkins, who was a 98 graduate in English, one of our homeschooled kids, has just been named the top journalist under the age of 30 by the National Association of Real Estate Editors. Give her a hand for that. I'm very proud. And finally, Ian Robb, who was our valedictorian and majored in languages and maybe English. He majored in several things, I remember that. And went on and finished here and got his master's in intercultural communications by the time he was 19, went on law school at William & Mary, finished when he was 21, 22, has just received the very prestigious Gates Cambridge Scholarship to do a master's in Master of Philosophies and International Relations at the University of Cambridge. Would you give Ian Robbie a hand? Now, let me make one statement that I was not looking forward to making because I've been trying to keep him from doing this. But our provost, as you know, has decided that he wants to teach some more. He teaches already, but he's going to teach even more. And after much discussion, has decided that he will make this next year his last year. He has done a superb job. We will have many times to thank him. But would you all stand and let him know how much we appreciate what he has done, please? And if you've not seen it, it's on the web now. The list of people who will be serving on the search committee chaired by Dr. Mike Summers, you can find on the web. The list is now out. I think you'll be pleased. We work to have faculty, students, and staff from across the campus. It took several months to fix this. It's a really great group of people. I mean, you will see them as the leaders of our campus in many ways and representative of the different research interests and different challenges that we face. They will work hard with Dr. Summers to find the best person. It'll be hard to replace Art Johnson, but Art will continue to serve as a senior statesman of this campus. It is always great when going into a search, when people can say the president and provost are still on good terms. It really is. And that the campus cares about its provost. It helps. We have a year to go, though. It's true. Shut up, Art. I'm trying to be there. Half full, half empty, right? You can't just let me be positive, right? I love him. Don't you just love him? The fact is that, but the nice thing about Art Johnson is you know where you stand, don't you? You really do, always. And the fact is, though, that it will be much easier finding a great person because the strength of the position, because of the way people have treated the provost and the way he's handled himself. The strength of the position will help us tremendously in finding interesting candidates. And then let me say that I am not pleased to say, on a professional level, though I'm very happy on a personal level for someone, I don't even like saying it, but I'm going to say it. Dr. Lynn Zimmerman, one of our wonderful colleagues, will be going to Emory University. Would you have Lynn? Stan, would you all give a round of applause, please? And professor of biology, head of advanced, done so much for so many people here, gotten all kinds of presidential stuff before, too, for teaching and research. But most important will be the senior vice provost there at Emory. She and her husband will be going, we'll blame him for this, too, both of you together. But what is so nice about it is that we see Lynn's going to UMBC as a kind of UMBC South. You see, you'll be our presence in Atlanta. We have so many of our students there already. I know they'll be connecting with you, and we will be working to build partnerships. We think that Emory can learn quite a bit from UMBC. You know this. I think they know that. That's why they brought you there. They're bringing you there, and we're very proud of you for doing that. Let me end by saying that this has been a tough year in many ways, and yet it has been one of our best years in other ways. It is an interesting, the best of times and the worst of times is very interesting. Well, it's not been the worst of times, but in many ways. I mean, even with the challenges we face in our departments, I know with not having enough money, it amazes me how well people have done. They're stretched. I understand that. You're stretched. But I want to thank you for what you do. We are working, the provosts and the vice presidents and I with the deans, to find ways, working with the faculty senate, working with the APB, with the staff senates, with the steering committee, to find ways to create solutions. This is the challenge that we face. I have no doubt that any budgetary issues that we face can be addressed. We will work on being as disciplined as possible, but as supportive. I mean, you think about it, the two fundamental themes of this campus, fundamental themes in terms of what we're trying to do. We are building research, and we're supporting students, teaching and learning and research. You think about it. We're working to strengthen the infrastructure, support faculty as they build their research, and it was said so well by our presidential awardees that we really are working to create a climate in which undergraduate and graduate students can thrive while faculty thrive, while we support students and staff in thriving. It is so wonderful to hear staff members who are students. It really is. I go from hearing Deborah to hearing Pat McDermott, and what comes through in both messages is that education transforms lives. You hear somebody talking about working on root canal 25 years ago, and today being a professor who inspires colleagues and students. You hear somebody saying something about not having confidence, and yet now with a 3.8 GPA. I mean, everybody can get choked up. They really can. I mean, and it's the good stuff to get choked up about. You get my point? You want to get choked up about good stuff. And I think when we get challenged, the PeopleSoft days, the auditing days, when we deal with assessment, as we deal with budget, let's just remember why we're here. It is to support each other as we seek the truth and as we inspire people to be their best. It is an honor to be at UMBC. Thank you all very much. We've been cooking all night to come and eat some food, okay?